Hello everyone, I'm Briffy1322 and this video is going to show the fastest cars made by the in-game manufacturer Declasse in terms of lap time. As always, the position counter is in the top left with the best lap time the vehicle achieved in the top right, and since it's more for interest purposes rather than anything functional, non-raceable cars are included in this list. Also, as the title says, this is cars only, there's no bikes, planes or anything else here. This video only focuses on track performance, so if you're interested in top speed, where braking, cornering and acceleration aren't relevant, check the link in the description for the top speed testing series. And if you want to know more information about this testing, including the extent to which it's accurate and how useful it is for you personally, have a read of the full description as everything that you need is in there. This video lists the top 10 cars and is correct as of the Cayo Perico heist update. For any vehicles added after that or other classes of cars, check the playlist linked in the second line of the description, and feel free to check out my Patreon or become a YouTube member if you want to support this work and get testing results of any new cars a little bit early. So Declasse is the second biggest car maker in the game with 44 cars that it makes. That's behind Vapid, which is the biggest at 54, and ahead of Bravado at 26. So it's kind of well into that second place in terms of the largest, second largest car manufacturer. It also has 4 of the top 6 muscle cars that are made by Declasse, all of which feature in this video. The other 2 of that top 6 are made by Vapid, as we saw in last week's video, but it's certainly the strength of Declasse comes from the muscle class, and even some of the sports class cars like the Hot Ring Sabre and the Drift Tampa that we saw earlier, they have a very muscle car feel to them. And actually the Hot Ring Sabre that we just saw, which is only the 6th best Declasse car, that is the quickest car that they have for the sport class. So we're already not going to see any more sports cars in this video. There isn't any supercars made by this manufacturer either. It's very heavily weighted to the muscle class. And like I said, they do have 4 of the top 6 cars in the muscle class, including the number 1 of the Yosemite, with a 1 minute 6.7. There are a number of muscle cars at the top that have very similar lap times, but ultimately it's the Yosemite that you're going to want to choose in most situations. And considering Declasse also have the 3rd best, 5th best and 6th best muscle cars as well, plus some arena muscle vehicles for the sort of the non-raceable muscle class, if you like. We're here, as we see with the arena Impaler. Certainly that is where their strength is when it comes to muscle cars. Obviously with 44 vehicles as well, just like we saw with Vapid last week, it's kind of strange that we don't have more quicker vehicles at the very top. It's certainly they're a lot more weighted to slower vehicles as a whole, even though there's just so many vehicles that they make, but none of them are really that quick until we get to the top 2, because we take a massive jump in lap time from 3rd place here with the Arena Impaler with a 106.7 to even just 2nd place, because we go from a 1 minute 6 to a sub 1 minute lap time with a 57.9 for the Scramjet. As I said earlier, there aren't any supercars that are made by Declasse, but that's only when you take into account the regular raceable supercars. The Scramjet is obviously non-raceable in terms of it's not possible to use it in regular races, but it is technically in the supercars class, and it does get a lap time that is pretty damn good. It's good enough for 2nd in the non-raceable supers class, behind the Vigilante, which is 1st for non-raceable supercars, but it's still not the quickest vehicle that Declasse make, and that's because they recently came out with an open wheel car of the DR1. And as is becoming apparent with these videos, if a manufacturer produces an open wheel car, it's going to be the number 1 for that manufacturer's list. With a 56.7, we're talking a 2nd quicker than what the Scramjet could manage. Obviously the Scramjet only really gets its lap time because of those boosts. The DR1 gets its lap time because it's an open wheel car and it has incredible grip around the corners like all open wheel cars do. It's 3rd place for the open wheel class, obviously still significantly behind what Benefactor make with the BR8, but certainly the quickest from Declasse. And these 2 cars, the DR1 and the Scramjet, when you think they're around 10 seconds per lap quicker than everything else that Declasse makes. It's kind of crazy that this manufacturer goes from very heavily weighted to sort of the 1 minute 6, 1 minute 7, 1 minute 8 lap times, and then when it comes to second and first place in the list, it just jumps straight to some of the quickest cars in the entire game overall. When it comes to top speed, it's probably no surprise that the Scramjet is the number one there as well. But keep in mind that the DR1 in its low downforce setup does have the highest top speed of all the open wheel cars. Obviously, you can check out the top speed and lap time videos for the open wheel cars that I've done previously if you want all the information about downforce setups and how the front and rear wings change lap times and things like that. But yeah, Declasse, they make 44 cars, but just similarly with what we saw with Vapid, they don't make that many that are at the top of the lap times. But unlike Vapid, Declasse's top cars really are some top cars. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Let me know which manufacturer you'd like to see next down below in the comments, and consider supporting on Patreon or become a YouTube member if you want testing results early. Also remember to read the description for more info, comment with your thoughts, like the video if you enjoyed it, found it helpful, and subscribe for more. Thank you all so much for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.